Okay, good morning, everyone. This is Doug Nesbitt, Director of Affinity Partnerships for CMG Financial, and you are tuned into the HomeFundIt Hour. Actually, it's only going to be about a half an hour because we go really fast on this Friday morning. Thank you for joining us at our non-usual time of 9 o'clock Pacific, 12 Eastern for the HomeFundIt Opportunities for Real Estate Professionals training. This is a training for loan officers and real estate agents. Walk you through the HomeFundIt program. Many of you are familiar with it already and just need a refresher, and some of you are new to the program. So what we're going to do today is we're going to go through the HomeFundIt platform and how it works. Then we're going to talk a little bit about the HomeFundIt Real Estate Agent Portal, or Realtor Portal for short. And that's where agents can share HomeFundIt with their buyers. And if you're a loan officer, obviously you're going to want to make sure all your referral partners have these. And it's very easy to set up, and we're going to show you that as well. And we'll spend a tiny bit of time talking about the affinity opportunity for those of you who like to go out and put in place affinity relationships with companies, corporations, organizations, etc. And we'll show you about that. And then we'll have a little bit of time for Q&A at the end. If you've got a burning question during the presentation, though, never fear. You can just type that into the Q&A panel. I keep the Q&A panel open on my side, and I will do my best to answer any questions that you have along the way. And I kind of keep an eye on that as I go through. The chat panel works just about as well, though. I would say that's probably second to the Q&A panel. You're all currently muted so that we don't hear a lot of background noise, and that's why you want to make sure you find that Q&A panel on your screen and type in questions as you go. And again, I go real fast, so if I skip over something too fast, feel free to type in a question. Don't worry about that. And we'll stick around as long as needed at the end to go through stuff. And again, I go pretty fast, and so this will take about 30 minutes tops, and we'll be there. You should be seeing a blue screen right now that says HomeFundIt Opportunities for Real Estate Professionals. If you're not seeing that blue screen, somebody please shout. That means my sharing is not working right. But hopefully you're all seeing it. So I'm going to go ahead and get things rolling here. For those of you who aren't familiar with CMG, the company was founded in 1993 by Chris George. He's recently the chairman of the Mortgage Bankers Association for, I think it was 2019. And we're privately held. We lend in all 50 states. We're a top 15 lender. We did about 31 billion last year in mortgages, 3 channels: retail, wholesale, and correspondent. We've got about 700 or so loan officers in 140 or so retail branches across the country. Full range of residential lending programs, plus 2 bookend programs that you definitely want to know about. One of them is the all-in-one loan. I call that the most powerful loan on the planet. That is the loan I have on my house. So if you're not familiar with that loan, definitely you want to get familiar with it because it'll change the way you think about mortgages and money forever. And the other big program that's a game changer, it's exclusive to CMG also, is HomeFundIt. That's what we're here to talk about today, of course. So 2 things that HomeFundIt does, and these are the answers to the quiz at the end. Actually, just kidding, there's no quiz. But if there was, these were the 2 answers. Number 1 thing it does is it solves the one problem, the big problem that first-time home buyers have, and that is the down payment, right? And the second thing it does, and we didn't really design it to do this initially, but as it turns out, HomeFundIt is really good at holding on to long-range home buyers. And we meet them all the time, right? I mean, there are folks who aren't ready to buy right now. There's a lot of those folks, right? And you know, they've got to work on credit, income, they're just starting the job, maybe they just re-signed the lease, all kinds of reasons they're not ready to buy tomorrow. But you would like them to be your customer in the future, wouldn't you? So how do you hold on to those folks? Well, HomeFundIt is a fantastic solution. We're going to talk a lot about that today. So the result of these things is that you can speed up the purchase timeline, make it so that they're ready to buy faster, ready to buy stronger. And then second, if you can hold on to them, that means you won't lose them to a competitor. And that's what we're going to talk a lot about today, as I said. So let's talk about first-time home buyers first, because that's largely who's using the HomeFundIt platform. 82% of millennials, largest home buying generation out there ever, want to buy a home. The average age of millennials is 31 right now, and the average age of a first-time home buyer is 33. So that means that the wave is just about to crest on the average age of the first-time home buyer. So these millennials are really primed to buy homes. When you talk to prospective home buyers, 2 out of 3 of them is a first-time buyer, statistically speaking. That's a National Association of Home Builders number. And when you actually look at who gets to buy a home, who's actually in there buying, doing the transactions, 34% of those are first-time buyers. So what happened, right? What happened between 63 and 34%? Well, the answer is the down payment. They're struggling with high home prices, we know this, rising rents, and student debt, right? This is something new in this real estate cycle, and that's why when you talk to renters, 70% of them will tell you that the down payment is the #1 hurdle. So, problem, how do you solve it? Well, the old way is good old bank of mom and dad, right? Giving the check, and in about 25, 30, 35% of cases, we see a little down payment gifting coming in from bank of mom and dad, even though under Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac guidelines, and FHA, other relatives can give, but they never get asked. And why is that? Well, we know paper checks, gift letters, kind of the hassle factor of reaching out, making sure that the grandparents can sign gift letters and all these good things. So a lot of times they just don't get asked for all those reasons. And that's where we started building HomeFundIt. It makes it so that you can donate online with a debit or credit card, no offline paperwork. So we've taken all that hassle, taken it online, taken the friction out of the process. And that makes it much easier for all those folks to be able to step in and give. And it's certainly much easier to ask them for help. And we make it so that anybody can give on the platform, and that includes friends, teammates, coworkers, wedding guests. That's a huge one right now. So the bottom line is all those folks can give. They can give up to $7,500 per donor. No upper limit on how much you can gather on the campaign. No commissions or hidden costs. If you try to do this on Kickstarter, GoFundMe, any of the other platforms out there, you have big commissions and hidden costs that subtract from all those donations. We pass 100% of that through to your buyer. So anyone can give, frictionless gifting online, very, very easy to do. And it's very easy to set up a campaign page so that you can gather gifts from family and friends, just a few setup screens, and presto, you've got a page on the web that you can invite people to come visit. It's got a picture, title that you can title your campaign. You can craft a nice story or use the handy default story. Loan officer and real estate agent are both featured prominently on the campaign page. There's a place in the upper right where people can donate. So the grandparents can come here and simply just click, and that's it. Now, there's a second way to add funds to a campaign, and that's called Up It. I'm going to talk about that in a second. And in the bottom right, you can see where all of the gift money comes in, and that's all the donations are listed in the bottom right. We match those donations 2 to 1 up to the lesser of $2,000 or 1% of purchase price, whichever is less. And because most homes are 200,000 and up, generally speaking, most people are hitting that 2,000 because all they need to do is bring in 1,000 in gifts, and they've got $2,000 free towards their transaction. We pay that towards closing costs because we're a lender, and we do that for first-time buyers who take home buyer ed prior to signing a purchase contract. Let me say that last part again: home buyer ed prior to contract. And so those are the 2 hard and fast rules to get that 2,000. Pretty easy. Now, we do a lot of these with Freddie Mac's Borrow Smart program. Borrow Smart is where if you make less than 100% of the area median, you can get $1,000 to $2,500 extra towards either the down payment or closing cost. Does require home buyer ed, but the nice thing is the home buyer ed for Borrow Smart counts for the home buyer ed for HomeFundIt. So together, we see these programs layered a lot. They're separate programs, but they're layered all the time. Our top HomeFundIt producer is our top Borrow Smart producer. So together, you can tell your client, hey, we could apply for up to $4,500 extra towards your transaction. That's a huge differentiator for you. So these 2 programs are game changers. The nice thing about the Borrow Smart program is down payments are as low as 3% using Home Possible. So the bottom line is 2 great programs go great together. Peanut butter and chocolate. Okay, I mentioned Up It, a second way to add funds to a campaign, and you do that simply by shopping. You click the button here on the campaign page, or you can use the handy Chrome extension, which makes it that so you can bypass that whole process. And anytime you use that, it opens up a world of online retailers. There's 1,000 of them in there, and each of them rebates a certain percentage back to the down payment as a pledge at closing. So the person's got to stick around and actually close out on the deal. Walmart, you can see, is 4%. I was just on Home Depot the other day, 8% back towards the down payment. But each one of them is different. They range from 1% to 50%. All the stores that you know and love are in here: Walmart, Target, Home Depot, Old Navy, everybody. And again, anytime someone shops, there's a percentage that goes back to that down payment. We bonus those, just like we do the 2-to-1 on the gifts coming in. We do 2-to-1 on the up-it pledges coming in towards that same $2,000 lender grant. So if you spend $100 at Walmart, you get $4 towards the down payment and a 2-to-1 match on that, $8 towards that $2,000 lender grant. So a quick way to get 12% on that transaction. So it's a fantastic way to build up additional dollars, particularly good if you have a long time range, and particularly good if you have a few family and friends helping you out by shopping on your behalf as well. Plus, a third way to get to that $2,000 lender grant is simply by sharing your campaign. You got to get the word out. So if you share it on social media, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, you get $10 every time you share on each of those platforms every day. And if your family and friends shop or share, they will help you get another $10 each time also. So we've had lots of campaigns go all the way to $2,000 just by sharing. It doesn't take very long. Just share a bunch of times. So again, 3 ways to do it: a match on the donations, a match on the up-it pledges, and $10 per share. Had a quick question about up-it. Is up-it only available if they shop online? Yes, because you have to be able to connect that shopping trip to the campaign page. 2 ways to connect it. One is you go through the up-it button on the campaign page. The second way is you use the handy Chrome extension, which links to a campaign of your choice. There's full control over the campaign via a control panel. They can track all their donations coming in, all the matches. They can update their story, add updates to their photos, and things like that. We made a bunch of big changes on May 1st to HomeFundIt. Some of you probably have heard that. We now call it, sort of lightly, we call it HomeFundIt 2.0. And that's where we've gone from just being a conventional loan program to any type of loan will work with HomeFundIt now, except, and I have to say the exception is HFA bond programs. I get a lot of questions about Chenoa, that we don't do it with Chenoa. HomeFundIt lender grant went up from $1,500 to $2,000, so that was good. Fundraising limit went up to $7,500. You used to have to pre-qual before you raised funds. Now you can start raising funds right out of the box. And the campaign deadline used to be 12 months, and now it's unlimited. You might think that's a small change. It's the big change, because this allows you to lock up folks way earlier now. And we have campaigns that people are setting up for people in college still. They might be 2 years, 3 years away from buying a home, but they can start, and the up-it shopping part of it is perfect for folks like that. But again, that locks that future buyer to you, unless you create that pipeline of future buyers structurally, not just with a business card, right? And we used to distribute gift funds at closing via wire. We now season those funds in the buyer's account prior to submitting the final documents for underwriting. I'm going to show you what all this looks like on a timeline next. So you might set up your campaign page, and let's say you were really a long way from buying a house. You might just shop with up-it. You can use those up-it pledges as long as you want. They're good forever until you buy a house. And then if you want to start fundraising, you can do that at any point in time. Usually the process itself runs about 4 weeks, 8 weeks, maybe 12 weeks on the outside. Because when people say, hey, I'm getting close to buying a house, that's when family and friends tend to donate, and then that's kind of done. So it goes pretty fast, but you can start it at whatever point in time you want. You want to be pre-qualified, obviously, before you get out and start house hunting. We recommend doing homebuyer ed as soon as possible so that you don't get that tangled up with your purchase contract. You got to get it done before the purchase contract. And because the funds need to be seasoned in the account, the buyer, the campaigner, releases those funds via ACH. They do this from their dashboard, and it goes right into their checking account. And we, again, recommend you do that at least 2 bank statements prior to submitting final documents for underwriting. It takes a little bit of coordination. And I know it freaks some people out, but it's very easily done if you plan ahead. And today, if you're planning ahead, it takes a while to win a house today. So you got to have those funds ready to go anyway. So I tell people, get started early, get those funds collected, and get them dumped into your checking account. Reducing the chance that they're going to run away at that point is the 2,000 and the up it at the end, and that holds people. Once people start fundraising, we don't lose customers. They're really committed at that point. Now we have a lot of fast lane transactions. People are buying a house sooner than 60 days. They worry, hey, I'm not going to be able to season those funds. Don't worry about it. You can release those funds after closing. The campaign stays open all the way through closing, and you can release those and use them for carpets and paint and curtains and things like that after closing, or you can release them into a completely unrelated account, debit card, whatever you want, before closing, just as long as it doesn't get tangled up in underwriting. So we tell people you do have a couple options. Obviously, those latter two options, you can't use the funds to purchase the home. But presumably, if you're doing a fast lane transaction where you're within that 60-day period, you probably have the funds anyway to buy the home. In most cases, we see that. So those funds are used after closing in a lot of cases. But again, good planning, good coordination. Talk to us if you have questions, and we'll help you plan all that out and coordinate it. Bottom line is, when we look at all these campaigns, what we typically see is what you might expect is the closer relatives are coming in for the bigger gifts. The other relatives are coming in for medium gifts, and friends are coming in for the smallest gifts. Weddings, you end up with $75, $100 gifts a lot of times. In almost every case, people are hitting the $2,000 free money at the end, and extra funds coming in from Up It. We've closed, actually this slide is a little out of date, it's about 1,200 campaigns now, so we have a good feel for how these campaigns run. Pretty typical. Top 10 campaigns, remember there's no upper limit, so we've seen some very large campaigns. There's also some small campaigns. The sweet spot for HomeFundIt is anywhere between 5,000 and 15,000 for a well-shared campaign where they share with family and friends. That's generally where people end up. 5 to 15 gifters, and that's kind of the 5 to 15 rule, we like to say. But again, we see campaigns that are smaller. We see campaigns that are larger all the time. What makes a good campaign is a good photo, good story, and share the campaign. Let people know, because otherwise it's back to old Bank of Mom and Dad, right? This is a look at a typical sweet spot campaign. Good photo, good story. The couple had just gotten married. They went back out to that same group of folks that came to their wedding, and they had 13 people give almost $11,000, sped up their purchase tremendously. They were blown away. They thought their parents would give in the campaign, and what they found is there's a dozen more people gave than they thought. So it was just really a great experience for everybody. We do have a video on this in your realtor portal that I'm going to show you later. I'm not going to show you the video, but I'll show you where to get it. But it shows the testimonial from this couple, and it's pretty amazing. Again, the folks who are gifting to these campaigns, well, some people say this is crowdfunding. I don't like to use that word because it freaks people out. It is family and friends funding, right? And it takes the friction out of family and friends funding. Same folks you sent graduation announcements to, same folks you sent wedding announcements to. It's that inner circle of people who know you, love you, and want to help you do well, right? It's the college roommates, it's the best friends, it's the relatives, grandparents, brothers, sisters, uncles, cousins, those folks. And that's the people who give, and that's the difference for a lot of buyers. Between just asking mom and dad for a little money and letting friends and family know that they're trying to buy a home. We see a lot of campaigns that focus on family as a result. The one on the right raised $32,000. We see a lot of dream home type campaigns. We see a lot of wedding related campaigns. And again, great alternative to having your wedding guests buy you toasters and spoons and things. They can help you with your down payment. It's a web page, so it links easily to the wedding wire, to the knot, to the spruce, to your wedding website. Just channel your visitors over to your HomeFundIt page and have them gift towards your down payment instead of buy you stuff you probably already have, right? Solo campaigns, big opportunity here as well. These are first-time buyers getting started who not married, they're just coming out of college, they want to have a house instead of an apartment. The family would rather have them have a house than an apartment. So look, you've got a lot of older clients who are not moving, right? These are folks who are in their 50s or whatever, and they've got kids that are finishing up school, starting their careers. Instead of saying, call me when your kids are ready to buy a house, you say, hey, I'd like to talk to you about this new platform that could help your kids become real estate owners faster, right? And let's get them set up on a campaign page where maybe they shop with Uppit for a year, and then they go into fundraising at that point. So huge opportunity to mine your existing client base of non-monetizable clients and look for the next generation of home buyers and make them yours today. Not saying, here's a business card, but let's get started now, right? And it's a fantastic tool to be able to do that. Same thing with the wedding idea I shared with you earlier. We had a loan officer and real estate crew go out to a wedding expo in Florida, buy a table, sat there, signed up 13 campaigns on the spot. Now, those are future home buyers, right? They weren't even sure when they were going to buy a house in some cases, but they started the relationship right there with a HomeFundIt campaign. So great opportunities to mine some of these kind of opportunity bases like future buyers for solo buyers and wedding related buyers. Let's talk a little bit about how you get this out there. If you're a real estate agent, or if you're a loan officer who has real estate agent referral partners, which you do, you want to make sure that all the agents are set up with real estate agent portals. These are free landing pages that are branded. They've got some great marketing tools built into them, and they set up super fast. It's got your branding on it. It's got the agent's contact information and picture on it. It's got a big green button where the buyer can start a HomeFundIt campaign. It's got an About Me statement that you can craft or copy in from your website. There's a Ask a Question panel that goes right back to your email. So people get here, and if they have a question on how things work, they can get in touch with you very easily. There's video that shows how the program works in a testimonial video, as well as various press clippings that people can review. Now, once you get campaigns up and running, you'll have an active and successful campaigns tab that showcases all of your campaigns, live campaigns, as well as campaigns that are completed. And each one of them is clickable, go right to the campaign page. So it's a great way to showcase this for future first-time buyers that you're working with. On every campaign, you have the opportunity to match. And that's a dollar for dollar match up to whatever amount that you want. Now, the exception is there's, I think, 10 states where you can't do this. But if you're in one of the 40 states or so that you can do this, you can do a dollar for dollar up to whatever amount. It's a pledge for closing cost help at closing. And so you're not out any dollars. There's three great reasons to do this match. One of them is, the obvious one is it incentivizes people to go out and raise funds because you got a match on that. Second is it retains your client, right? Because the more activity happens here, the more matching going on, the less likely they're going to run away. Thirdly, it's free publicity, right? Because there's a donor network out there that's checking out these pages, and they're all getting to see you every time someone's making a donation over and over. So the bottom line is recommend the match. You can do it to any amount that you want. I see a lot of $500 caps out there these days. There's a marketing center built right into your portal. So when you log in, you can go right here to the marketing section. There's flyers in the documents tab. And what I wanted to show you was there's videos in the videos tab. And there's 7 of these videos in there. Why should you care about these? Well, they're cool. They come in a branded video player, which has your branding on it. So what you're going to want to do with these things is you're going to want to share them on social media, because that makes some great messaging for social media. You guys know that video is the #1 most intrusive way to get people's attention on Facebook. When they see video going by, they usually stop and check out and see what's happening. They're going to see your branding. They're going to be able to share it with their friends or reshare it, and they're going to easily be able to get back in touch with you through a question form on the video. There's 7 of these videos in there, all great stories, highly produced. And again, each one of them has your branding on it coming out of that portal. I recommend you share these on Fridays, and then as first-time buyers are looking at stuff on social media, they're going to see this messaging about solving the #1 problem that they have, which is the down payment, and it's going to lead right back to you. You can see my branding on the video here. I'm just clicking the share link underneath, brings up a share on Facebook. And I'm just going to put in a little bit of description at the top here, a call to action. We've pre-written that. I'll show you how to get that. Then you just click the share button and it goes right into your social media timeline, just like that. And that's your marketing for the weekend. Couldn't be easier. And there's 7 of these lined up ready to go. So that covers you for a full 7-week rotation. And again, you're getting it out there in front of folks with a great message, something that they didn't expect to see. And if you have a Facebook page, you can boost that post to all kinds of people who don't currently follow you, right? So for $50 or so, you can do a boost and get it in front of people who don't follow your page today. There is a full kit for each one of these videos that are in there. There's a page in your portal. You go into the documents section and download these. And each one of these pages has how to share, how to boost, and it's got the copy that you need to be able to do those descriptions at the beginning of every post. So you don't actually have to think up what the video is about or call to action. We've already pre-written a whole bunch of those. There's, I think, 3 or 4 of those for every video. That way, every time you post that same video, you're saying something different. So it's a great way to go, ready to go, basically. All you do is plagiarize and hit post, and that's it. Really easy to get one of these portals. Just go to realtor.homefundit.com, put in your name, email, pick a password, and you're going to want to upload there's a little bit of realtor information at the top, upload your logo, upload your picture, and write a little about me statement or copy it in from your website, and you're ready to go. I forgot, you got to do a match. It's optional. You don't have to. I see people that don't, but I see a lot of people that do. Again, I recommend you do it for a bunch of good reasons that I mentioned earlier. Realtor.homefundit.com. And again, it'll take you 5 minutes to get set up on one of these portals. And again, every first-time buyer conversation should include, mention of the program, because it can be a big help for a lot of folks. Now, once you get your portal up and running and you've got a campaign up and running, your buyer will get weekly email statements from you and your loan officer showing them how they're doing on their campaign. This is particularly good for long-range campaigns where you need to stay in touch over a long period of time. We always talk about staying in touch with clients, right? It's built in, right? It happens automatically. Every single week they're going to get an update from you on the program. So this is a great way to drip on the client and keep things connected. And anytime somebody does some activity on the campaign, anytime someone shares or shops or donates on the campaign, there's an activity email that just goes out that says, somebody just shared your campaign and you got $10 or you got $13 because somebody shopped for you at Home Depot. Want to give your client a great gift? Just shop on their campaign page every now and then using the Up It link on their campaign page. They get an activity email that says that you just shopped their campaign. So it's a pretty cool way to stay in touch with clients and show them how much you like them. Okay, let's talk a little bit about the Affinity Portal. This is a tool that we built for agents and loan officers who want to go out and talk to companies. You're looking at Graceland University here. They're a university in Southern Iowa. It's actually where Caitlyn Jenner went to college. And this is a picture from their campus. I actually went to the campus when they rolled this one out. And their HR department basically uses this as a company benefit for folks who are moving into the area to work at the university. They want them to become homeowners quicker, so this gives them the opportunity to build a down payment faster. They use this as an HR benefit. So if you know some companies out there that you've got a relationship with the HR director or let's say the owner of the company, and you think you'd like to bring them a benefit that allows their employees to go from renting to owning faster, then we can tee up a conversation with them. I've got a presentation ready to go, and all you need to do is kind of coordinate a meeting and I'll help you present it. It goes up very, very quickly. We just set up the page for the company and then basically they just share the information with their employees. It's got some built-in collateral that the company can share with employees. It doesn't cost the company anything. The company does have the option to match. I've got one company that's matching up to $11,000 towards the down payment. Again, very, very easy to set up. And all the leads, all the campaigns that get set up on these go to one loan officer and real estate agent team. So You set it up, you collect all the business from that company. So if you're interested in that, let me know. So bottom line is, when you are today meeting a client, you are usually meeting them at the end of this long journey where they're getting ready to buy a house, right? And you hope they're ready at the end. With HomeFundIt, none of that matters. You can start anytime. You can set them up on a campaign page even as they're finishing up school, getting that first job. If they're not ready to buy a house today, then they can shop with UpIt. You've structurally locked them in while they start that journey, however long that journey happens to be. But I guarantee it'll be faster than if they went on the other journey, which is the long one. They'll have help from family and friends, get that down payment together, bigger, faster, and stronger. So you are accelerating the process for folks and you're locking them in. Plus you have this interesting affinity opportunity where you can tap into folks who are starting that first job even easier. But the bottom line here is you're preempting your competition. You're differentiating yourself in the marketplace with a tool that your buyer didn't even know existed, and showing them something new. You might be able to layer on Borrow Smart on top of that if you can. But again, you're preempting and speeding up the process, and you've got a tool to hold them during the process instead of just a business card. It all boils down to using the tool, right? Getting them on these campaign pages. And that's what makes the difference for folks. So for your client, it speeds up that process and lets you lock them in sooner. It's frictionless gifting because all of it is online. And that really does open up possibilities for buyers, right? Today, they need every edge possible, right? Whether that's a bigger down payment or the ability to respond and make another offer on a home, you know, a second offer that's higher, or cover costs that the seller won't cover. The bottom line is it changes the game for your buyer. And that can be done two ways: donations or shopping, or both. So for you, set up one of those realtor portals, realtor.homefundit.com, and then think about who you need to talk to about this. Your older clients, the folks that are on the bench today, ready to go. Bottom line is every first-time buyer conversation should have a mention of HomeFundIt, because every first-time buyer I've met needs a bigger down payment. And then do the basics like posting the testimonial videos, emailing links to your portal to folks, and even doing things like updating your signature block with a link to your portal or to one of those videos. All that stuff is in the portal. And that's HomeFundIt, the HomeFundIt platform itself, the real estate agent portal, and the nifty affinity opportunity. Hope you found that interesting. I'll stick around for Q&A here if you guys can think of some questions. I got the one here that came in, which I answered, but if you have more questions, feel free to type them in and I'll stick around here. My contact information is at the bottom of the screen, dnesbitt@cmgfi.com. My mission is to help you be successful with this program. So email me, call me, let's get together and work to figure out how we can help you build your business with this. Again, every first-time buyer should kind of hear about this, and if you're not sure how to present it, I'm here to help you. We've got a lot of great tools to do that, and one of the things I want to share with you right now is a free tool which will allow you to get started fast. It's a HomeFundIt starter kit, and I'm going to paste that into the chat panel, and all you got to do is open the chat panel and you'll see a link there you can download and unzip that, and inside there are consumer flyers, there's a real estate agent flyer, there's a cheat sheet, there's a great summary of the program, it's got a whole bunch of links to all the videos, and it's a great thing for you to copy and paste out of, frankly. And you can copy and paste stuff into emails to tell people about the program from the cheat sheet. And it's a great way to kind of remind you all the features too. There's an FAQ document that'll answer any question that comes up on the program, just about, and a copy of this presentation, because I also get asked for that. And hopefully that will give you a good, fast start on the program. And I did have a question coming in here. When someone starts a campaign, what is the extent of the obligation that the campaigner has to ultimately go under contract and use the funds? What happens if after a year they have met their campaign goal, but their situation changes and they're no longer house hunting? Okay, great question. So someone sets up a campaign, they start getting some gift funds into their campaign page, and something changes. They need to bail out. Those funds are unconditional funds. Those are pure gift funds. And so they can ACH the funds to themselves into their bank account and go on their merry way because they're unconditional at that point. Now they would lose out on the $2,000 lender credit at the end and any up-it shopping pledges that they had accrued along the way. So that's what holds people. We almost never see that happen. Once people start fundraising, they're super committed. They're going down the line. I think I could probably count on one hand the number of exits we've seen over 1,000 campaigns. So it almost doesn't happen. Occasionally there'll be a credit issue. Occasionally there'll be a terrible relationship issue, which then everybody's happy to see them go. But it's their funds. And we have had this happen a couple times where they have asked us to reverse the gifts back up the line to the debit or credit cards from whence they came because they didn't feel comfortable keeping the money. And we can do that as long as the debit or credit card are still valid. So we can do that as well. But because they're pure gift funds, they're their money, basically. So there you go. Again, hardly ever happens once they start fundraising. The exits typically happen before they start fundraising. They change their mind about the whole thing, and they do that before they start getting gift money in from family and friends, probably because those conversations don't start at that point. Let's see, link isn't working when I cut and paste into a web browser, and it's not live to just click on through the chat. You know what I would do? Let's see. It normally works. Give it a try. Maybe I'll put it in again, and maybe there was something wrong with the one that I typed in the first time. Try this one. I hope it works better. And if not, shoot me an email and I'll do my best to get you those components. If you still can't get it, send me a quick email and I'll try to send you the components as attachments, hopefully. Another question is, did you say if the campaign is terminated, they lose the up-it portion of the match? Yes. Any up-it shopping funds that they're gathering along the way, they're a pledge at closing. So again, that's an incentive for people to stick around and close the loan and buy the house. So the up-it portion gets lost if they go somewhere else. So it's a great retention tool. And again, that's one of the ways we hold people through a very long period of time. Another question is, can you revisit the recommendation for a realtor to begin discussions with someone in their network, maybe interested in incorporating the affinity program to the HR benefits? Yeah, so if you have a company or an organization, it doesn't have to be a company, it could be a church, it could be a union, could be an association of some sort. They want to give a benefit to their members. Have a conversation with the HR director, president, your contact there, and say, hey, we've got this program that can help your employees go from renting to owning faster by letting them build a bigger down payment faster. And you as a company or an organization can offer this to them for free and let them use it as a tool to use with their family and friends and gather up down payment bigger. And if you're interested in it as a company, you can match into that as well. Say $500 per employee towards their down payment. That's a great company benefit. And companies are always looking for more benefits, especially right now, to offer employees to entice them to come and stay and work. And if that company is interested in offering a home buying benefit, this is a great one because it doesn't cost them anything. And they can, if they want to, they can actually match into the down payment and say, hey, we have a home buying program. And I've actually seen some loan officers work with real estate companies who will also kick in off of their fee, a percentage off their fee. We're working with a very large one right now that's doing that. They're kicking in up to 50 basis points off the real estate fees. So the bottom line is it's a great way to team up with a company and bring a benefit to the employees. And if you've got some interest in that, then just coordinate with me on a meeting time and we'll do a presentation kind of like this one for your contact at the company and go from there. And I've got the presentation materials that's needed. And I can be there to help you pitch and answer questions. So hope that helps. Okay. Let me know if you guys have more questions. I'll hang around. Again, we do these pretty much every Friday. So if you know folks who couldn't make it today, they're normally Friday at 10 a.m. Pacific. Today we had to go a little bit early because we've got a gigantic real estate office that wants to present. Oh, I should say, if you're part of a real estate office or if you work with a real estate office that would like to hear this as part of their weekly meeting, and you need a guest for a weekly meeting, we do these all the time. I probably do 2 or 3 a week for various offices. So if you're looking to present to a whole group, we can do that. We do them online, of course, but we do them in a meeting format so people can kind of see each other. And most of the time, it's part of as a guest on the weekly meeting that folks have. So if you're interested in presenting that to your office or to your agent's office, please let me know. Happy to do that anytime. Custom private meeting. Let's see, this webinar is recorded, and I will put up the recording at the end, probably over the weekend, and I'll have that probably up Monday or Tuesday at the latest. Here's the link of where the recording one is. Hopefully this link works. There is an older recorded version that's up there right now. So if you're interested in taking a look at that, it's very similar to this one, obviously, because I do these live and they're pretty much the same every Friday. But I usually update them now and then, or when I get a good one where I don't stumble around too much. So the on-demand one is the recorded one from a few weeks back. Okay, I'll let you guys go because I know it's Friday and you're probably busy and trying to get stuff wrapped up for the week. Thanks for being with us today. And again, reach out to me at any point in time if you have questions. I'm here to help and build your business. And remember, every first-time buyer needs a bigger down payment. This could be the answer. And it could be the thing that helps you stand out in the marketplace, differentiate yourself. So I hope you'll give it a shot. And we're here to help along the way. Thanks for being with us. Go out and make it a great and safe weekend. We'll see you out there on the HomeFundIt trail in the days and weeks ahead. Bye, everybody.